Never thought I had to play this game again. Alright, let's play. Alright, what should I make this character? Oh, how about a hedgehog? Yeah. Alright, this looks pretty good. This is a nice avatar. I'll see if this game really is as garbage as people make it out to be.
What are you calling garbage?
Whoa, who the hell are you?
It's me, the avatar you just made in the game.
Oh, so you were just in the game?
Yeah, the name's Spectrum. Spectrum the Hedgehog. But my friends just call me Chaos. And I'm only here because you insulted Forces.
Well, I didn't insult it. I was just saying that people were saying that was garbage. I mean, I was already working on a review for Forces, so do you want to review with me and show me how Forces can be good since you're here now?
Well, I've got nothing better to do, so why not?
Okay, cool. So, now what?
You want to make a stupid-looking avatar?
Hell yeah. Hey everyone, how y'all doing? And today we're going to be looking at Sonic Forces. I see that I was going to review this game before, but now that time has finally come. But before we start, I have a special guest here to help me out, so please welcome ChaosControl VA.
Hey guys, thanks for having me, SonicMaster. It's the least I can do for a game that I sincerely appreciate.
It's great to do another collab on the channel again. So anyway, let's get started. Sonic Forces was revealed back in July of 2016 along with Sonic Mania.
Sonic Forces was developed to celebrate Sonic's 25th anniversary, and after the mixed reception of Sonic Lost World, it looked like Sonic was getting back into the deeper, more mature storytelling of the adventure game style and the mid-2000s era of Sonic. And in the trailer, they showed that they were going to have the same team who made Sonic Colors and Generations helm the project. So the hype for this game was pretty high.
Well, that's what it looked like at first. Unfortunately, we were all lied to, but more on that later. Hey, do you remember when the trailer for Forces first dropped, everyone thought this was going to be Generations 2?
Oh yeah, I definitely had my suspicions about it. I thought it was going to either be a Generations 2, or they were going to bring back the Archie cast, what with the whole Join the Resistance line. I even believed the rumors about the story involving Eggman kidnapping Tails, and having him make these massive Death Egg robots as seen in the trailer.
Yeah, it was a weird time, honestly. One of the main points of the trailer was the fact that you can design your own Sonic character to play as in the game. This got a lot of fans excited, but when I first saw it, I immediately made comparisons to Dragon Ball Z Universe because in that game, you can make your own character and play as that in the story, but I wasn't really against the idea. In fact, I thought it was pretty cool since at this point we all know about the Sonic OC memes, so having an option to play as them was a pretty neat concept. I felt like if I made a lot of Sonic OCs when I was younger, I would have gone ape crazy.
Exactly! The idea of having your own character fight alongside Sonic and his friends in a Sonic game story was the coolest thing a Sonic fan could ask for. It was a novel concept, and one that I greatly appreciate them implementing, despite having its own flaws.
There's also a surprising amount of hype build-up with the game's new villain, Infinite. He had a bunch of familiar faces like Shadow, Metal Sonic, Chaos, and for some reason Zavok. I remember there was a bunch of gameplay footage dropping for Forces around the time it was getting close to release day. So by the time November 7th, 2017 rolled around, it didn't take too long for fans to be disappointed for this game. I remember the first exposure I saw from Forces was from a Let's Play by Kobarno9456. I hope he gets better. And then I saw a lot of people saying how much of a letdown the game really was. I personally wouldn't get my hands on the game until January of 2019, and even with all the negative things I heard about the game, I still went in it with a positive mindset because I thought maybe I could have a different opinion than what other people thought. I even got the bonus edition with the stickers you could put on your controller. So anyway, I played the game, finished it, and then I put the game down and never played it ever since. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that I was pretty disappointed with this game as well. So do you have any stories with this game, Chaos?
Wait, there was a bonus edition with stickers?
Wait, you never knew? Dude, it was in every ad for this game. It also had a digital code for costumes you could add on your avatar, but the code I have doesn't work anymore, so yeah.
Seriously? They never showed up in any of the ads I've seen. Either that or I'm stupid. Anyways, I was beyond hyped for this game upon the approaching of its release. I was even theorizing that maybe Infinite was connected to Mario 8 Deluxe. Somehow. Makes me realize how stupid I was. But still, I was hyped. And when it came out and I got my gloved hands on it and played it, I found it was a rather fun experience. Sure, I noticed its problems, but they weren't that big to me.
When this game first came out, it met with pretty mixed reviews, with people agreeing that this game was just mediocre. A couple years later, the game has had some severe backlash. Like, I'm not joking, I haven't seen a Sonic game that get this much hate since 06. I even see people calling it the worst game ever made. I can't really speak for Chaos, but this is the first time I'm playing this game since 2019.
Well, from my side of things, I've only seen mixed reviews, and by that I mean to say that there wasn't much of a consensus among people. Some people didn't like the game, while some did.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. It's getting close to 5 years since this game came out, and it's been beaten, bashed to death, and just really isn't well liked that much among the community. But today we're here to see if this game deserves all the hate that it gets, and like always, we're gonna start off with probably the most divisive thing about this game. The story. The story starts off with Eggman sulking in his lair about how much he hates Sonic. We get the cuts of Sonic running through Green Hill Zone, and he goes to the city and rescues Tails and the rest of the people in the city. Before he tries to attack Eggman, he's then confronted by a bunch of villains from past games, and spoiler alert, 2 of them you don't even fight. This new face appears, and with the power of the other villains, they proceed to beat the everlasting shit out of Sonic.
Tails, I need to know what's going on with this guy.
I'm trying, Sonic, but these readings are all messed up. They don't make any sense.
Happy feet, wombo combo. Where you at?
6 months pass, and the other characters start a resistance against Eggman. A new recruit named, well, he/she doesn't really have a name, so we'll just call him the Rookie. The Rookie joins the characters on a mission to defeat Eggman and take back the world. It's also implied that Sonic is dead and Tails seemingly lost it, which is honestly a pretty jarring tonal shift.
Thankfully, though, Sonic is found to be alive and is being held by Eggman on the Death Egg, so naturally the Resistance plans a rescue mission, while at the same time, the classic Sonic from Sonic Mania appears in this dimension after the end of that game, teaming up with Tails in order to survive and stop Eggman on their own.
Meanwhile, on the Death Egg, Sonic is freed by Zavok, and they start fighting. After Sonic defeats Zavok, he disappears, and then he goes off to find a way off the Death Egg. Then meets up with the Rookie and gets a shuttle off the Death Egg. Silver then confronts a new villain, and it's revealed that his name is Infinite. Sonic then fights him, but then Infinite comes out on top again. He also had the chance to try to kill Sonic, but then he just decides not to, which sounds pretty stupid, but whatever, that's Infinite's choice.
Meanwhile, Tails and Classic Sonic run into Eggman and Infinite as they discuss the Phantom Ruby prototypes and Sonic. Classic Sonic crashes this little party of theirs, and after roughing up Eggman, he reveals to the 2 heroes that he's planning to wipe them and the Resistance out in just 3 days. And then he leaves without saying much else. Man, Eggman can be just as cryptic as Scott Cawthon.
Anyway, Tails and Sonic finally meet up with each other after 6 months.
It's been generations since I seen you.
Tails told Sonic about Eggman's plan to wipe out the Resistance in 3 days. Later, it's heard that Shadow was attacking people in the Sunset Heights. Sonic also confronts him, but the real Shadow knocks out the fake. It's then revealed that all the bad guys that were with Infinite were all copies. Yep, that was the best they could have thought of. Eggman's army is attacking everything in Metropolis. Knuckle comes up with a full frontal assault plan that he planned for about a minute and a half. Obviously it fails.
During the attack, the Rookie runs into Infinite again, which brings up a lot of trauma for him after the last time he met him. This time, though, he has Sonic's words to push him forward, and he kicks Infinite's butt to the curb. He even finally uses the Phantom Ruby prototype he found earlier. However, it's still not enough to keep the masked manipulator down for the count.
Sonic and the Rookie spot Metal Sonic in the city, and they proceed to take him out. Later on, Tails comes up with a plan to destroy the Death Egg. First, the Rookie distracts Eggman so Sonic can break into the computer room to take down the defense system so Classic Sonic can destroy the Death Egg from inside. Once they do that, Sonic goes down to Metropolis to find Eggman. However, Eggman pulls another power generator, then sends Sonic and the Rookie into null space, although they're only in there for less than 25 seconds.
After they get out and take back the city, we then cut to the finale, the final battle. And guess what Eggman's elimination plan is? He tries to drop the sun on the Resistance! How crazy is that?
Yeah, that's probably one of the most evil things that he's ever done. I mean, well, he's still under his sun while Infinite's making it fall down, but, you know, the fact that he even planned that in the first place is honestly kind of insane. But after the Rookie stops the sun from dropping onto the Resistance, Sonic and the Avatar fight Infinite for one last time, and they finally defeat him. Now that I think about it, the only reason why Infinite won the first time was because he had his Phantom Ruby copies to help him, so since he can pop out as many of them as he wants, why didn't he just use them again? Anyway, Eggman uses the Phantom Ruby to make a giant robot to destroy everyone. Once the Avatar, Sonic, and Classic Sonic defeat him, Classic Sonic goes back to his timeline, the Resistance disbands now that Eggman and Infinite are defeated, and the game ends with Sonic and the Avatar running off into the sun.
The end.
And that's the story. Most people tend to bash on this story just for how many hopes it destroyed in the community. Some consider it the worst Sonic story. I don't think that the story is anywhere near good, but I also don't think that it's the worst by any means. That being said, there are still some problems with this game story that I have. But this game story has been bashed to death already, so I don't want to go over every little detail, but there's still some things that I want to bring up though. Before I do, Chaos, is there anything you want to add here?
Yeah, I agree. The story isn't perfect, but it definitely has elements that I appreciate them trying to implement. Even if it isn't done properly, I'm still glad they tried.
Yeah, I definitely like all the mystery surrounding Infinite and the Phantom Ruby. They definitely sound interesting in concept. The execution is a complete mess though. There's also one thing about the story that people tend to bash on a lot. Tails' portrayal. I can honestly see where they're coming from though. Honestly, they really did Tails dirty in this game. The main scene that showcases that fact is when Chaos Zero shows up. Even though he's fought and defeated Chaos 4 before, all he can do here is get scared and cry for Sonic to save him. Although, just to be a little bit positive for a little bit, I kinda like how Sonic is portrayed in this game. He still takes things seriously for the most part, but he still has that carefree attitude that we know and love.
Well, look who's back from the dead. The little blue savior. But what's that I smell? You reek of fear. Glad to see I left an impression.
That's not fear. I ran all the way over here. And you haven't left an impression. I don't know anything about you, not even your name.
You may call me Infinite. In the brief moments that remain to you.
Oh, great. See, Infinite? Now we're getting to know each other. So, what's your favorite color? Do you like long, romantic walks on the beach? What's the source of your power? You can skip the first two questions if you like.
But now we have Infinite, a character that was a pretty cool villain throughout the story, but then was turned into a complete bitch in episode Shadow. Alright, episode Shadow was DLC for this game that tells the story about how Omega got dismantled. And this is also how we get to know the backstory of Infinite. Shadow literally beat him up and just called him weak, and now he just wants to destroy things now.
For me, while Tails' new quirks did understandably set people off at first, I understand how it all works. Of course he's going to be afraid and cry for Sonic now that he's gone. He thought Sonic was dead. That was a traumatic experience for him, and someone in his condition would act the same way. Sure, it's not fully described on screen, but people just need to connect the dots for themselves. But beyond all that, for Infinite, how they portrayed his backstory is, dare I say it, weak. But that doesn't mean what they were trying to show wasn't bad, for me anyway. They just needed to show it better.
Alright, now that we've got the story out of the way, it's time to get to the most divisive part of the game, the gameplay. This game is separated into 30 levels, technically 33 if you count Shadow's levels. There's 3 different gameplay styles in this game: Modern Sonic, Classic Sonic, and the Avatar. We're going to start from Modern Sonic. Modern Sonic's gameplay is pretty much a boosting gameplay that was established in Unleash, but unlike Unleash and Generations, you can't power your boost with rings. You need to use the white wisp-like in colors, which I never really gotten. It's all basically the same gameplay but weaker. He has all of his power-ups from Unleash from the start, but for some reason Modern Sonic can't drift anymore, which doesn't really sound as bad at first, but there is one level in the game where you have to do a sharp turn, but if you keep on boosting you'll fly right off the stage, so you're forced to stop boosting in order to make that turn, and it's a huge pace breaker, but that's the only time that it happens. My main problem with Modern Sonic's levels is just the control. I can't really explain it that well, but the momentum is completely whack. You build up a lot of speed during the studi sections, and it causes you to either overshoot jumps, or you don't build up enough speed and you undershoot them. There's also the fact that Modern Sonic can't homing attack at any time you want anymore. Now he just has this useless double jump, I mean it just makes the momentum problem that I have even worse. People tend to complain that the modern 3D sections have very linear pathways, but I don't really mind it that much since the controls during the 3D sections are a little bit more fine-tuned than 2D, because the momentum problem doesn't really happen to me as much in 3D than 2D. Modern Sonic is by far the best character to play as in this game because, and I know there's going to be a lot of people who disagree with me, but the 3D sections in this game feel pretty competent, and dare I say actually pretty fun sometimes. I mean, these stages are as linear as they can get, but there are still some levels where there's alternate pathways that you can take to reach a goal faster. And if you watch like any other Sonic review I've done up to this point, then you would know that that's my preferred Sonic level design. I'm not saying that these levels are good, but I honestly thought the modern Sonic stages were actually pretty well made.
Meanwhile, we have the Avatar gameplay. Aside from the significance of its inclusion in the Sonic universe, while what the Avatar creator provides is cool and all, the amount of it all is just so lackluster. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate the body customizations and the suit parts we have, but I feel like there could be more there to them. Like for one, I think it would have been cool to have the ability to change the height and size of your character, or it would have been nice to have more clothing alternates that have more color palettes than just 3. Little things like that could have made the Avatar creation gameplay so expansive. Even still, I'm thankful for what we got. It's a start, if they decide to ever use this again.
Yeah, well, it's pretty underwhelming with how limited we are, what we can make with our avatars. I still had a lot of fun making my avatar look as cool and as dumb as possible.
Anyways, in the actual gameplay, unlike Sonic, the Avatar takes full advantage of the Wisp mechanics. All avatars come with their own weapons called Wispons, which are powered by the extra wisps to give your character elemental powers. If you pick up the Burst Wisp while using the Burst Wispon, you can blast yourself into the air. If you pick up the Asteroid Wisp while using the Asteroid Wispon, you will have your little army of minions turn into a protective shield. All of that provides endless possibilities for exploration and expansion that the customization lacks in.
The Avatar's gameplay is basically just modern Sonic but without the boost, and it's alright. But the one problem I have with the Avatar's gameplay is the controls. For some reason, whenever the Avatar is just running normally, he just goes from 0 to 100 in a second, and it just feels really jarring every time he slows down. And the problem with the Avatar's speed messes with simple jumps that I should be able to make no problem, but his momentum just throws me off every time. There's also this wall jumping ability that he gets in stage 25. For some reason, when I swear I'm clinging onto the walls, the Avatar just doesn't do anything and he just falls to my death. And I hated Imperial Tower when I first played this game for the first time. Honestly, that problem didn't really happen to me as much now as it did on my first playthrough, but it was still really annoying when it happened to me. But that's only the really major problems I have with him. Overall, he's not too bad. And finally, we get the classic Sonic. I mean, this isn't classic Sonic from Mania. It isn't even him from Generations. His levels are exactly like in Generations, as in playing in a classic level, except for this game, his speed has been entirely nerfed. Also slopes and loops that can make in older games. I had the Spin Dash just to do it, but to be fair, the Spin Dash was really powerful in Generations, so I don't really mind this being nerfed though. But everything else just feels off. So I feel like Sega realized that classic Sonic's jump in Generations was way too floaty, so they tried to fix that by making it as heavy as possible. Sometimes I try holding down on the B button just to make sure his jogging Sonic doesn't drop like a blue rock. And his momentum is off too. Sometimes I slip and fall off the platforms with classic Sonic, and I know I said this about modern Sonic and the Avatar, but I feel like this might be the worst example of it, and the reason why is because of the auto-scrolling level, an auto-scroller, in a Sonic game. I'm slipping off edges of platforms frequently, and I miss jumps all the time, and given the fact that I already hate auto-scrolling stages, that's just add more salt on the wound. Classic Sonic also has a drop dash, but it's nowhere near as useful as it was in Mania. I barely even used it. In fact, I actually forgot about it while I was writing the script. Classic Sonic also has power-ups in monitors like running shoes and invisibility, both of which last for 3 seconds, and shields, but for some reason, the elemental shields aren't in this game. Overall, Classic Sonic is my least favorite character to play in this game. He's the only one of these characters that I actually genuinely dread coming back to.
Wow, that's a lot. I don't think I have much to add to that.
Well, I guess that leaves us with the final character, Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow is easily the best part of the game because he's basically just a clone of modern Sonic, but that's how he started out in Adventure 2 and technically Hero, so I don't really mind that. While he's basically the same as modern Sonic, the memento problem isn't as bad as it is with modern Sonic. You can actually play as him in Sonic stages, but only the ones that don't have cutscenes or the tag team stage with the Avatar. Speaking of which, there's also a couple of stages where you get to play as both modern Sonic and the Avatar. It's kind of like the team mechanics from Sonic Heroes. You can switch from one character to another with a click of a button. There's not really much to talk about here, I just thought I should bring that up.
Well, what I can really say about Shadow's gameplay is that it is indeed pretty much the same as Sonic's. The only major downside to Shadow's gameplay is with the levels in his DLC you have to traverse in. Their designs are so lacking compared to the main game levels, which some of you could say is saying a lot. While playing his stages, you can't help but feel as though it's too empty. Not to mention, I feel like the whole experience could have been better with us being able to use ChaosControl! VA. I don't know, that's just a thought I had.
Okay, now that we got the characters out the way, let's talk about the level design. All I can say about it is that they're ridiculously short. They can take you about like 1 to 2, maybe 5 minutes if you completely sucked at the level. To be fair, short levels don't automatically make them bad. I mean, Sonic Colors has short levels and that game was still fine. But the problem with this game's levels is that they always end when they're about to get interesting. Every time I feel like I'm getting invested into something, the level just ends out of nowhere. In my opinion, 3 to 5 minutes per stage is a good enough stage length. And on top of being short, they're also really easy too. Again, Colors was an easy game, but the difference here is the ranking system. It's way too easy to get an S rank in this game. I even died once in one level and still came out with an S rank. And if you get anything less than an A rank in this game, you really need to rethink your life choices. And also, the levels don't really have that much variety in its aesthetics. I mean, I do think that it's pretty cool how there's multiple levels in one area, but I don't know, I feel like if these levels didn't look the same, it would make it even better.
Now, the common complaints about the levels in this game that I see quite often is that they're too linear, that they don't have many pathways to the end. The reason I bring this up is because that's actually something the levels have going for them. They do indeed have multiple pathways. I should know, I've actually played the game over and over again. But even still, I can understand why people would still complain about this, as it is hard to see those pathways on the first playthrough of the level. And for that, I want to say, first off, why not just say it like that? And secondly, that might actually be a good thing. In my opinion, what makes a game good is its ability to get people to come back and play it again, going back through and finding out what you may have missed. And if Sonic Forces' levels have these extra pathways that aren't so clear along with other things worth collecting and exploring, then maybe this game is doing its job better than you'd like to admit. And maybe it can exercise your brain along the way.
The kind of level design that I look for in a Sonic game is to get to the goal ring and find other pathways to get to the goal faster. I don't think that this game is completely void of alternate routes. I did find some in the first level, and I thought the one in Luminous Forest was pretty clever, but other than that, there's not much comes off the top of my head. It's like what Chaos said, maybe I just haven't played the game enough, but from what I could find, the alternate pathways were alright, maybe even decently designed. The one complaint I see from this game a lot is that there's too much automation, and I kinda agree with it, but at the same time I don't. There's a lot of these quick time events where you have to press the homing reticle at the right time. Most people don't like this, but I feel like the cinematics are really well animated. I really love all the movements here, so that's why I don't really mind it there. Where it does feel kind of unnecessary is with the double boosting sections with the Avatar and Modern Sonic. You don't really have to press the boost button repeatedly just to get it to work. And I don't see people bring this up, but when you run out of boost, you just keep on going until the sequence ends. And then there's the Avatar's grappling hook sections. In the trailers, it looked like there's going to be a lot of on Avatar's grappling hook, but half the time you don't even use it. The game just does it for you. I know this is probably coming off as a typical Sonic Tuber bashing Sonic Forces and shoving Forces dab down our throats type of video, but honestly there's still a bunch of positives to talk about this game. Like the level design for Sonic is something that I can actually enjoy and something I can come back to. Maybe not over and over again, but enough to have fun with it. And I also love this game's UI. All the level transitions look pretty clean and the interfaces look as good as Generations. And the attempt at trying to do a deeper story, kind of like the adventure games, was an admirable effort. If only they could get the execution down, then I feel like this game's story would have been one of the best in the series. I said this before, but I love the Avatar customization. It would be pretty cool if we could customize the Sonics, but the Avatar customization is still pretty cool. I had a lot of fun making my new Avatar. I also made this rabbit that grew up with head trauma. What? I know there's going to be a bunch of people calling me a Sega bootlicker or telling me to stop settling with mediocrity, but that's just how I feel, guys.
Wow. Remind me why you need me here again?
I thought it would be fun to do another collab again.
Heh. Moving on, we now have the SOS and daily missions. These are little side quests of sorts where you can either take random missions on many different levels involving avatars made by other players from all around the world, or daily missions where you have to go back through the levels and do certain things in order to get some new clothes for your avatars.
The SOS missions basically just have you replay the same levels you already completed, so unless you're on a PlayStation trophy or an Xbox achievement, there is really no reason to play these stages. Don't really have anything else to say here. The side missions with the rental avatars was a pretty good idea with other players' avatars around the world, but I feel like this idea could have been expanded a lot more, in my opinion. There's also these challenges that you can do, but they're not really challenges, it's just you playing the game. For example, Boost as Modern Sonic, Stomp as Modern Sonic, get an S rank in Stage 5, Slide as Modern Sonic, Quick Step as Modern Sonic. Like, where's the actual challenge?
But if you're one of those people who are totally invested in the Avatar and its gameplay, like I really am, then doing these challenges are definitely rewarding, as they can give you new clothes for your character as a prize. Just hope you're not looking for a specific set of clothes though, the rewards are distributed randomly.
Yeah, I guess I can see that, but I personally just see all these challenges as pointless and not really worth going out of your way and doing. Up next is the collectibles. After you complete a level, you have the option to go back and get all the stuff that you missed, like the red rings and the moon tokens. There's 5 of them in each level, and they don't really give you anything as far as I'm concerned. So again, unless you want a PlayStation trophy or an Xbox achievement, there's really no reason to getting these. Last thing that we should talk about before we get to the final section of the video is Supersonic. Supersonic is downloadable content for this game, and he works exactly like he did in Generations. Supersonic in the modern game has always been so underwhelming in my opinion, and this game is probably the worst example of this. By this point, I've already had my time with the game, so Supersonic just kind of felt pointless. In this game, Supersonic just feels like he'll just add it into the game last minute, and just comes off as kind of bland. Modern Supersonic just boosts infinitely, and Classic Supersonic just jumps higher.
And I'll also add that it's also underwhelming with the fact that you have to download it instead of having it already being a part of the actual game. Not just as a part of the story, but the game as a whole. Supersonic has been downplayed in Sonic's recent games, and Forces honestly takes it to a whole new level because you have to download it. The last notable mainline Sonic game to include Supersonic as a part of its story was Sonic Generations, and the other 2 mainline Sonic games that don't include Supersonic in their stories, but still have it as a part of their base games, are Sonic Colors and Sonic Lost World. So the fact that you have to download it here for Sonic Forces is just a sad reminder that Supersonic's relevance will continue to decline in the games, unless that changes in later games somehow.
Alright, now let's get on to the graphics. I'll be honest, I didn't really like the graphics when I first played this game, well more specifically the character models, and before any of you guys go in the comments say, oh great, another Sonic fan who hates the Forces model because his spines are shorter, and no, that's not it. In fact, I never even noticed that until someone pointed it out on Twitter. It was more because I wasn't really down with the more realistic eyes on the characters, it just looked kinda weird to me, but I did start to warm up to it as the years went on. The environments are also really pretty in this game. I don't think that it looks as good as Generations or even Unleash, but it's still a pretty nice looking game. I especially love how Luminous Forest looks. It looks really nice and the water effects are fantastic. Anyway, back to the character models. I personally think that they're alright, but a lot of people tend to hate on them to the point where people start freaking out when they thought the same Sonic model was going to be used in Sonic Frontiers. Nobody cared in 2017, but now they do. Okay, but jokes aside, the graphics are pretty decent. Okay, also, what about you?
Yeah, the graphics are pretty decent, I can agree with that there. Although personally I'd say they're better than Generations. I played Generations on the PS3 before, and when comparing the two, Forces definitely comes out looking the more crystal clear. And the character models are fine. And I also don't really care much about Sonic's quill size, and no one really should, as they're a small detail that doesn't really change much else. And I don't know if this counts as graphics, but it does go along with the character models, so I'll say it anyway. The models' animations, I will say, are pretty stiff, which does bug me, but that doesn't mean they can't be any less expressive, which they are.
Another thing that people tend to bash on this game for is the OST. Some people don't really like the remix vibe that Forces has with its music. Personally, I think it's pretty good. Sure, some are more forgettable than others, but this soundtrack actually has some bangers, like Fist Bump and Infinite's theme. Even some of the Avatar's music is pretty good, like Aqua Road. Prison Hall. Spaceport. Imperial Tower.
The sun is falling in the sky beyond. Light is fading from
boss theme is just amazing. Although I will say that classic Sonic music is just awful. Like it's like Sonic 4 levels of bad. But other than that, I think that this game's music is pretty good, and I have no shame in saying that I actually listen to a couple of this game's songs whenever I'm walking to school. I'll admit that I didn't really like Light of Hope that much when I first played this game, but when I replayed it for this video, I started to warm up to it. At least the instrumental version. But I will say that the soundtrack is an acquired taste, so if you really don't like techno type music, then you'll probably hate this soundtrack.
Personally, the game's OST is one of my favorite Sonic soundtracks of all time. Every song hits the mark for me, whether it's orchestral, techno, rock, or whatever else. The tracks I really enjoy the most are 8-Gate, Fist Bump also, Eggman's Facility, Network Tunnel outside, and the Light of Hope.
You have not lost a thing, whatever may come. The light of hope is always shining there in your heart. You've not lost a thing, whatever you do. Just know that your tomorrow will be waiting for you.
Seriously, Tomoya Otani and everyone else working on the music did a stellar job. However, I'm sure I would have more picks, but I unfortunately can't find them because Deoxys Prime removed his copies from YouTube. Seriously, why would you do this to me?
Alright, we've rambled on enough about our thoughts about this game. I think it's time we get to the final part of this video. Don't you think so too, Chaos?
Definitely. I don't know how much longer I can stand here running my mouth off. Seriously, my knees are sweating and they feel like they're about to pop off. Is that a bad sign?
You should probably get that checked. Anyway, what are our final thoughts on Forces? Well, for me, it was a pretty big letdown, and replaying this game again for this video made me realize why I was so disappointed with this game in 2019. But to be fair, I did find some positives about the game, so that's a plus. I don't think that this game's really good, far from it actually. But do I think that it's the worst game ever made? Hell no. There's nothing in this game that deserves bitter hatred in my opinion. I know there's some people who unironically enjoy this game like Chaos, and if you're one of those people, then keep enjoying the game. Don't let my opinion affect yours, and don't let some random trolls on Twitter get to you. This is probably one of the most disappointing games I've ever played. Forces isn't a terrible game, but it definitely isn't a good one.
For me, Sonic Forces is good. Plain and simple. Again, it has its problems, but it still has a lot more going for it. And if you actually take a deeper look at everything you'd see in this game, you may find yourself developing a better appreciation for it. And yeah, don't listen to the crybabies on Twitter who keep saying Classic Sonic is the devil and you liking him means you have to go to hell, or something like that, I don't know. Form your own subjective opinions based on objective fact. Trust me, you might like it. And Sonic Forces, you may like that too.
As the years have gone, fans should start bashing this game off the ass, like saying stuff like this is the worst game ever made, even gets to the point where people can't even say anything remotely positive about Forces on Twitter without people getting pissy about it and dogpiling on them. There's a bunch of people saying like, oh, I won't have Sonic fans praising mediocrity, or people who like Forces are little children, or you're not a true Sonic fan. I even had people doing this when my dumbass thought it was a great idea to post a tweet when Sonic Forces was turning 4 years old back in November. I thought that I was gonna get, like 7 likes, maybe a couple of comments, but no, but people hate this game that much. How does this tweet almost have 500 comments and over 1,000 likes? I can see people saying stuff like, if you like Forces you need help, or I hope every build of this game gets destroyed. I made this into a Sonic Forces hate fest, what do you like or not? Like calm down, it's a fucking video game. Like, I get it, people have different opinions, but I honestly don't get how people think this kind of shit is okay. Because whenever someone says that they like 06, people are able to respect that. But whenever it's Forces, people will go like, I guess it's time to go quote this tweet and tell them right or wrong. And these are the same people who get mad when people hit on Forces and calling that beating a dead horse, but I have no problem doing the exact same thing with Forces. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Wow, that segment came off a lot angrier than I expected. I'm sorry about that. I just needed to rant for a little bit. That kind of stuff just really irritates me.
I can imagine it does. But yeah, this behavior is certainly not okay. You should never be incredibly hostile to others because they like something you don't and vice versa. As a people, we're already so divided as it is on many other things. Can't you just take a break and try doing some uniting instead?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, I can rant about this for as much as I want, but we'd be here all day, and since this video is probably as long as it already is, all I'm gonna say here is that just because someone genuinely enjoys Forces, that doesn't make them a Sega bootlicker or a fake Sonic fan. But if you guys are able to be fine with people liking Sonic 06, then it shouldn't be this hard to do the same thing for Forces fans.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, now we want to know what you guys think about Forces. Do you like it like Chaos does? Do you think that it's the worst game of all time? Or are you just in the middle like I am? I'd love to see all your thoughts in the comments below. And to Chaos, thank you for joining me on this video as we delve into what is currently the most hated Sonic game ever. So, would you like to give my viewers an idea of what you do on your channel?
Oh, I guess so. On my channel, I'm a Sonic tuber who does voice acting, video editing, and everything else under the blue spiny sun. Feel free to check me out. I'm sure I've made or will make something that tickles your fancy. But anyways, yeah, thank you for having me, SonicMaster. It was all my pleasure.
No problem, man. It was fun to have someone else on this video with a different opinion from me and see this game from a perspective of someone who likes Forces. And definitely make sure to check him out, guys. He has like, what, 100 times more subscribers than I do, so he's obviously doing something right. But yeah, now we have this video done, I want to tease you guys on the next couple of views I have planned. First one is going to be Super Mario Sunshine, and then the next one is going to be another remake of a video I did in 2019, for Dragon Ball Raging Blast. I'm actually really excited about doing that video. And the last one is going to be another Sonic game, Sonic Heroes. After that, I'm going to set up a poll on what marathon I should do next, but I'll reveal that after the Sonic Heroes review. So with all that being said, I want to thank everyone who was really patient while Chaos and I were in the process of making this video. You know, just a lot of stuff got in the way, like school and family and other stuff. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
Until next time.